Hey guys, happy Thursday. It's a little late here, but today is seller education and we're going to talk about how much it's going to cost you to sell your home. So every agent is going to be a little bit different with what they charge in commission. Commission is absolutely negotiable, so there is no standard rate. However, you'll see a lot of trends in commission. So let's just say that it's 6%. And the way that works is, just so you know, if your commission is 6% as the seller, usually a portion of that is going to be shared with the agent that brings the buyer, and then the other portion is going to the listing brokerage. And here at RVA Home Team, we are implementing some packages for sellers. So we have different levels of commission structure. So that's something we can talk to you about. That is starting basically now. So we'll have that. But here is a breakdown of how much it's going to cost you to sell your home. Now let's pretend this is a $300,000 home for some easy math. In Richmond, the average price point is around $260-ish. So let's start with a $300 just for easy math. Commissions, if it's a 6% listing, it will be about $18,000 on a $300,000 home. And again, a portion of that goes to the buyer agent brokerage, a portion of that goes to the listing agent brokerage. And by the way, we don't get all that. The brokerage takes their cut, and then there's taxes and expenses for marketing and all that good stuff. But commissions on a $300,000 home is around $18,000. You're going to need a closing company to prepare the deed. A closing company is going to be anywhere between $350 and $450. Most attorneys are around $450, so you have to factor that in. Then, of course, like everybody's got to get their hand in it, so the government's going to have, the lien release, your city, your county, or whatever. A lien release is about $100. Then there's a grantor's tax. So again, you are being charged a small amount that will go back to the county or what have you. That is like 1/10 of whatever. So if it's $300,000 home and that's what it sells for, it's $300 that you're paying. Here in Virginia and in the Richmond area, our contracts put the termite inspection onto the seller. I know in Northern Virginia, it's a negotiable item because that was my market many moons ago. But in Richmond, that's on the seller, and that's $75 with the company that we use. It's a $75 thing. And it's not like you can just call up your termite company because they actually have to do a report that we have to then submit to the buyer side. Interesting, just side note, on the contract, you are liable, unless it's otherwise written in, for up to $1,000 of termite damage after that inspection is done. If it turns up damages or any kind of issue there, you are liable for $1,000. Anything over $1,000 is negotiable, and it just depends on how that was written into the contract. If you are on well and septic, then you will have to do a well and septic inspection for the buyer as well. Buyers have to do all sorts of other inspections, but this is on the seller. And that can be, I've seen it go up to $800 for that because you have to have, sometimes it pumped, you have to have the distribution looked at, it has to be rod poked and all that kind of stuff. So let's just say about $800 for that. And then home inspection items. So clearly the buyer is paying for a home inspection, but every house has something. I don't care if it's a brand new home, there is only something. There was only one time in my career where it didn't turn up anything. And so you're going to have to factor in some money for that. So for all intents and purposes, let's just factor in $1,000 for home inspection items. So if you add all of that up on that $300,000 home, you're looking at probably $20,000 to $21,000 of all-in expenses. So that can vary because maybe you won't have $1,000 worth of home inspection items. Maybe you'll only have $100 worth. So, or maybe you'll have $3,000 worth. Just depends on the condition. So that can change. Another variable is, are the buyers asking for closing costs paid on their behalf? If that was something that was negotiated in the contract, then let's just say the buyers asked for $5,000 worth of closing costs on their behalf, and let's say you agreed to give it. So you got to add that $5,000 to that 20, so then you're looking at like $25,000. And what you do to figure out where you stand in all this, so if it's a $300,000 house, I'm doing some math here, and let's just say you owe, I don't know, $100,000 for easy math, that leaves $200,000, right? Well, then you have to subtract that. Let's pretend that there were closing costs. So let's say we subtract that $25,000, right? So that's going to leave you, where are we? Can you do the math? We're going to be at $175. So $175 is what you would then walk away with to put down on your next house or for retirement or whatever that you're looking to do. So that is how much it's going to cost you to sell your home. Again, commission is negotiable. But guys, something you got to think about too, the only time that commission becomes an issue for people is when price versus value. And that's why we work really hard to give a lot of extra value. If you've seen our videos and that sort of thing, we do a lot of marketing up front for your listing. And so there's that. The way our commission packages work at RVA Home Team, because maybe you are close to being underwater, which means you owe more than what you think you could sell for. We do have a package that's less than 6%. It's a minimal package, but you get tiers. So we always do professional photos, always. Unless it's like an investment property that we don't even have time to get photos, it goes too fast. And then it's gonna go in the MLS and a few little marketing things. Then we have another package, which is, you're going to get the professional photos, the video, a lot of different things in that, a Facebook ad, different targeted things for that. And then we have a bigger package that will include staging. So if your house needs a refresh and if you don't have the cash up front to do the staging, we have this higher commission package that will cover it, and we will cover that. And that's a risk reward on our side, because if for some reason you decided to pull your house off the market or whatever, then we had paid for staging. So that's kind of how our packages work. If you're thinking about selling your home soon, I'm happy to come on out and give you a free market analysis, no strings attached. We'll see where your numbers come in, and we'll see if we can make that work for you, and then we'll go over all the packages. Guys, if you have any questions, I'm Shannon Milligan at RVA Home Team, powered by eXp Realty, and I'm going to go have some dinner and enjoy a nice night with my family, and my dogs are outside playing. I kind of want to show you them because they're just like being so cute out there, but the yard's a mess, so I'm not going to. All right, anyway, guys, have a good one. Send me a message if you have some questions, or put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Oh, and if you want that listing guide, just like I have the buyer guide, if you want the listing guide, send me a message with your email, and I'd be happy to send that to you within the next 24 hours. All right, guys, have a good night.